thanks.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jody Maloney, and I'm so happy to be able to welcome you to this college Q&A session with Mason, Oceana, and Manistee College Access Networks. And I wanted to welcome today Kara Morin from Western Michigan University. Kara is the Assistant Director of Admissions, and also joining us today is Blake Kuzma, and Blake is a recruiter and student engagement coordinator for the College of Fine Arts at Western Michigan University. So as I mentioned earlier in this session, you can ask questions throughout, but please mute yourself when the presenter is speaking, and we will have time at the end of the presentation from Western to ask questions as well. The chat is open for you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kara and Blake. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. I'm going to start by giving a brief overview of Western Michigan University, and then Blake will jump in a little bit to expand on the College of Fine Arts and all of their wonderful offerings. We'll also talk a little bit about the application process specifically, scholarships, and then again, Blake can talk about how one would apply to the College of Fine Arts and scholarships that they offer. So to get started, okay. So we are Western Michigan University, located in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We are one of the top 10% schools in the country, and we very much like to say that we have big school opportunity, but small school feel and attention. So big school opportunity, Division I sports, Division I marching band. We have over 150 different degree programs to choose from. We are a top tier research institution. But at the same time, our class size is 32 students. Many of them become much smaller when you dive into maybe our honors college, our College of Fine Arts, and some of your upper level classes are going to be more like 15 students. You really get that direct professor connection, which is one thing that a mid-sized school like us it's a great advantage. You're more likely to be taught by a full-time faculty member at Western than any other Division I school in Michigan. So you have that full-time professor who's there to really serve you and be your teacher and instructor. This is just a little brief overview of, on the left are 7 academic colleges, and on the right are our most popular program by enrollment. So aviation flight science is one of our most popular. We are a top 3 aviation school in the country. We have our own airport. Students have access to incredible state-of-the-art facilities. So definitely a big draw for a lot of students. And then you can see we have traditional arts and sciences where someone might study psychology, also one of our very top programs. Biology, our pre-med students would be housed there. College of Education and Human Development, engineering and applied sciences. We have multiple different engineering options. And then College of Fine Arts. So Blake, do you just want to give a little quick overview of what Fine Arts offers and kind of how we are so unique as a school?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi guys, my name is Blake Kuzma and I'm the recruiter for the College of Fine Arts. Hi Jody. I basically College of Fine Arts at Western is going to come down to 4 different departments, and those are going to be art, music, theater, and dance. We are one of 8 universities, actually, or colleges for the College of Fine Arts that is actually accredited in all 4 of those areas, which is a big deal, which is really cool. Each department is going to be fairly small in size, which means that we have a lot of really unique spaces that you guys kind of get all to yourselves. Which is always really amazing. And a lot of our fine arts programs kind of focus on the community building aspect of the fine arts that is so commonly found in a lot of your high schools, and the reason why we love fine arts so much, and building connections for you for long after you leave. So we're not just going to support you while you're here. Our intention is to also help you succeed in the real world, where you're ultimately going to be spending most of your time. So yeah, that's kind of fine arts in a nutshell.
Great, thank you. And so then we have our Health and Human Services College. That's where a lot of our nursing or pre-occupational therapy students are housed. And then Hayworth College of Business. Many highly ranked programs are in HCOB, as we call it, as well. Yeah, moving on to things that we think make Western unique and stand out. Academic quality and learning environment is one of those. The thing I love most about Western's academic learning environment is that over 90% of students participate in experience-based learning. This totally ranges depending on what college you're in, what you're studying. For Sawyer interested in aviation, as I mentioned, we have our own airport. So you're literally working at an airport, whether that's learning to fly the planes, the plane maintenance. We also have an aviation management program where students learn the actual managing of like an airport and airport systems. And then another great example of hands-on learning in our Hayworth College of Business, our students have access to what's called the Greenleaf Trust Trading Room, where they have terminals that are used on Wall Street, and they were donated $500,000 to trade real money in real time on the stock market, and have increased that to over $1.3 million in a couple years. So it's such a cool example of at Western getting real experience, not just sitting behind a desk, reading a textbook. There are classes that you will do that, but a lot of your time is going to be spent developing skills, developing your resume, and preparing you ultimately for your career. We also find our campus community to be something that really sets us apart. Western is located in Kalamazoo. We have a pedestrian campus, so it's pretty compact. The College of Aviation, a lot of those students take their general education classes on main campus, and then they go out to our airport in Battle Creek for those flight science classes. That is about 20 minutes away. We have a free shuttle that takes students to that campus. But then we also, our College of Engineering, they kind of have their own campus space as well. But it's all in Kalamazoo. We find our campus to be really diverse. There are students from all over the world, 100 different countries, all 50 states. You walk across campus and you just feel like you're engaged in a global community. We also have hundreds of ways for students to get involved. So 35 club sports, these are great options for students who are athletes, want to compete seriously, but might not be Division I. And then we do, of course, have all of our Division I sporting events and our Bronco marching band. We have 300 student organizations, and these can range from really traditional academic organizations. And then Blake, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about some of the more unique ones like our MODA or group, or kind of our more fun organizations that are really popular on campus.
Yeah, so fun fact about me, I used to be a tour guide. So at one point I did know a good chunk of all of the different organizations that we have on campus, but some of my favorites include, but are not limited to, the Squirrel Watching Club, the Anti-Squirrel Watching Club, MODA, which is our fashion design club on campus. They do a runway show twice a year, which is really great. Zombies versus Humans is a giant Nerf gun war that happens on campus once a semester, which is also quite fun. And then, of course, another really cute one is A Moment of Magic, which is where students dress up as different Disney and Marvel characters and go to hospitals and spend time with children. Super magical. But yeah, and if you can't find one that you don't like, it's super, or if you can't find one that you do like, it's super easy to make one yourself. You literally need like a Constitution's a faculty member who's like, yep, this is a good idea, and 3 other people who could stand to stay in the same room as you for as long as you're going to hold your meetings. So yeah, that's basically it. So super easy to make your own if you can't find one.
Thanks. Yeah. So really unique, fun ways to get involved. And that is usually the #1 piece of advice our Broncos give incoming students is to get involved, that college is what you make it. And when there are hundreds of ways at Western, it's really easy to kind of build the experience that you're looking for and find that community also that you want. And then we also have lots of student support services. So these are come from our academic resource center, our writing center. We have tutoring. We have a nationally recognized program where a student who has successfully completed a course, usually it's harder classes, maybe like calculus, they're paid to then become a tutor for that course for students who kind of want tutoring from someone who's taken the class. So it's a really great kind of partnership. We are here to make sure that that transition from high school to college is smooth and that students feel supported. We also believe that our Broncos and our community are really committed to becoming part of something bigger and supporting their community outside of themselves. This begins with just our sustainable efforts, our commitment to environmental responsibility. Also, a lot of our research programs are really focused on developing things that make our world a better place. And it's really cool because at Western, our freshmen from the get-go can be involved in research. At a lot of really big research schools, they only allow research jobs for maybe graduate level students. But if students are interested in something like, and it could be lab research, it could be research working with people, like if people are in social work or psychology, working with those professors to develop whether it's actual products or processes that help people. A product that we're very proud of is the Neovent breathing machine, which is used in hospitals to support premature infant lung development. That was an undergraduate research project at Western that is now used in hospitals across the country. So we really know that undergrads are bringing in skills and ideas that, that we can then take and make our world better with. And then study abroad options, 90 different programs in 40 different countries. This could be something like a week during spring break, over the summer, a full semester. It depends on what you want, but we definitely say that study abroad, if you want to study abroad as a Bronco, you can make that happen. It is very much a great opportunity and is there for students who want to take advantage of that experience. And then the kind of final thing that we think makes Western unique and sets us apart is our being located in Kalamazoo. We're about 2 to 3 hours south from where your schools are located, but you're still paying that in-state tuition, but you're getting into a bigger city, getting the experience of going to college in a college town. We're consistently ranked as a top college town, top town for young people. We have music venues, art museums, we have theaters downtown and Miller Auditorium Theater on campus, which Broadway productions come through there. We have locally owned restaurants and shops. We have a rock climbing place. It's just a really fun place to be a student. We have access to Lake Michigan, hiking and biking and kayaking. It's just a great place to be a Bronco. And then in addition to that, we believe that Kalamazoo is there to support our students' learning. So whether that's partnerships with the hospitals, if they're pre-med and want some internships, our partnerships with the big manufacturing companies like Stryker, and people are interested in maybe engineering or biomedical sciences. We have a lot of partnerships that kind of will ensure that Broncos get, whether it's a paid job, an internship, whatever they're looking for, real industry experience. And being in a city like Kalamazoo definitely helps support that. Blake, is there anything you want to add about Kalamazoo?
Always. So I come from a very small town where there's not a lot of diversity. I didn't meet a whole lot of people who didn't look like me, didn't practice the same religion as me, didn't speak the same language as me. And when I got to Kalamazoo, it was definitely a little bit of a culture shock, but it's been the best thing for me, I think. I get to interact with people from different countries, from different areas of the United States. It's just a really amazing town, and there's lots of arts opportunities as well. I always say that Kalamazoo is a town that thrives and survives off of the arts. Like Kara mentioned, we have a ton of local different theaters, and a lot of our arts programs have direct partnerships with the different organizations in Kalamazoo. The graphic design program is a perfect example of that. The Kalamazoo Nature Center actually did a massive overhaul of its branding a couple years back, and the graphic design students redesigned everything, and they're still using that brand and logo today. So you see our students work and our students represented in many different areas in Kalamazoo. It's just one of my favorite things about the city as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So then this is an overview of our estimated cost of attendance. We are pretty much right in the middle when it comes to in-state tuition in Michigan. That is our estimate, so that's including tuition and room and board, as well as books and supplies. This is before anything is deducted from financial aid or loans. which I'll talk about in a second. But we do know that college is an investment for families and students. Absolutely. We do have the data to support that. On the back end, Broncos are coming out, over 90% of them within the first couple months of graduation are employed in a field that they like and that they've prepared for. So, or they're in graduate school. So those students really, they're a testament to the investment that students make on the front end, is that that career that people are getting on the back end. In terms of financial aid and scholarships, so these are, well, first of all, financial aid. We, and any university will award need-based aid based on the FAFSA, so the federal free application for student loans. And that opens now. We encourage students who are seniors this year to fill that out, submit it to us and any university you're interested in attending. If you're admitted, whether you commit to coming to Western or not, we create a financial aid package for you that is released usually in January and February. You can look at that and get a sense of what your out-of-pocket cost will be. We also have our admission scholarships here. These are merit-based. They are only based on GPA. We are test optional for both admissions and scholarships. So these scholarships are based on the grade point average on your transcript when you apply. But you have to apply by December 15th. And I'll also plug to apply during October because we are waiving our application fee this month. So you can see on there, if you fall into one of those categories and you qualify, that is the scholarship you would be awarded. We also offer scholarships through a couple of our different colleges, Fine Arts, College of Business, College of Engineering, as well as Education. If students are admitted, they would be invited to apply for those separately. The College of Aviation reserves a lot of its scholarships for its returning students. Well, I'll jump into the application process, and then Blake, you can do application to Fine Arts as well as Fine Arts scholarships. As I mentioned, no test scores required this year. You can complete either the common application or the Gold Gateway, which is our app. Both of those fees are waived through the month of October. So whichever one you apply with during the month of October, you don't need to pay. We do require your high school transcripts from your school. I'm not sure if there are a lot of middle college students in your area, Jody, but if there are, I can talk a little bit about that. And then we make an application decision and possibly award scholarships. College of Fine Arts is a little bit different, so I'll let Blake kind of overview how that application process works.
Thanks, Kara. Yeah, so we're the special college. We have a whole separate application process that happens after you submit your application to Western. Some places they're going to be connected, but at Western they are completely separate and don't really interact with one another. So it's super important that you don't forget that second application. For our performing arts, you're going to have an audition, obviously, that you're going to have to sign up for. Western is going to be hosting some in-person auditions, though they are subject to change and aren't until like February and March. It's the 19th of both those months, I believe, February 19th and March 19th. But if you want to come to campus, absolutely you can do that. Just know that they could change depending on how COVID is being wrangled by then. And then if you do decide to take advantage of the online audition option, which has always been a choice for our students because we have a ton of people coming from all over to audition for us, you can absolutely do that as well. Just make sure that you make that distinction on your application. For my art students, you're going to have a portfolio to submit, and that is done through SlideRoom. You can find all of our application links on the College of Fine Arts website, which is Fine Arts Apply, pretty much. And all of the performing arts applications are run through Get Accepted. So performing arts is Get Accepted, SlideRoom for art. My art students, some of you may have an interview attached to your portfolio, depending on what program you select. And for my performing arts students, for those who are not interested in actual performing in terms of being on stage, but maybe are more interested in the behind the scenes work, you may also have an interview. So just make sure that you go and fill out those applications, even if you aren't planning on being on stage. Definitely make sure that you go and apply for those. And again, those 4 areas are going to be art, music, dance, and theater. If you are in those houses, then you belong to us, and we would love to see your work. The application deadlines for those aren't going to be until usually February is the deadline, end of February. So you have a lot of time if you're still working on stuff, if you want to get yourself a little bit more together, practice a little bit more before you submit those applications, you can do that. You have some time. Just don't forget it completely. Make sure that you do fill out that application. And I believe our deadline for the general application is December. So if you really want to push it off, don't wait much longer after December. And definitely make sure you take advantage of those different fee application waivers that are going to be going on from now until November. So that's kind of the basics.
Thanks. Yeah, our application deadline is technically June 1st, but December 15th is that priority deadline for scholarships. So if students apply after December 15th, they still have some time. And then just to recap, Blake, if students are interested in scholarships for fine arts, that's usually linked to their audition or portfolio, correct?
Correct. There's no separate application to fill out for our scholarships. You can get scholarships from the College of Fine Arts or your specific department. A lot of times they're just going to look at your portfolio or your audition to base those things, and of course your financial need and your application to the university. So they'll just kind of take all those things into consideration. You don't have to write another separate essay for, your 30 millionth scholarship. Just nail your audition, nail your portfolio, and you'll be good.
Thank you. So then, so just kind of a recap of what we think makes Western unique. Academic quality and learning environment, big school opportunity with small school attention, our really kind of compact but family style campus community. Find what you love. It will be an option for you here at Western. The surrounding Kalamazoo area and the opportunity to make a difference in the world and be part of something beyond yourself. I will pause for questions and then kind of give a little bit more information about other ways that students can learn about Western and engage with us.
Did anyone have questions they want to share? You can share them as a reminder in chat, or you can share them out loud. I know that there are just some general program. The aviation program, does that have a separate application, or is that general as well?
Yep, that's a general application. That is something that I would encourage Sawyer. So the very first bullet point here to learn more is we have daily academic info sessions from colleges. So Blake would run our fine arts, but we have people from aviation that are available. There's so much in and out of the aviation program that it would be great for, if you're really kind of serious about it, to learn more, specifically around like flight hours, the additional cost of that. There aren't really any additional qualifications coming in. If you're admitted to Western, you will be admitted to our College of Aviation. They do have some restrictions on, once you're a student, the GPA you need to maintain to fly. They also will give a lot of information about, just kind of like learning more. We do have a really cool option. Actually, you know what? I don't know if they're offering it this year, but in the past, during traditional years, they offer, you can come to campus, tour our College of Aviation, and also do a test flight. You do have to pay for that, but they really encourage students who have never been in a really small airplane to do that, because that's something that they want students, before they commit to a 4-year aviation program, to have that experience of flying that small plane, to know if that's really something they're interested in doing. I'm not sure, Blake, do you know if they're hosting those this year?
Aviation is one of the only colleges that's actually still doing in-person tours.
Okay.
So I definitely recommend going to those info sessions, though. The recruiter for aviation is probably one of the most charming people I've ever met in my life. And he will definitely be able to kind of hook you up to do, if you want to do the personal tour after learning more, if you want to connect with students, if you want to do anything in aviation, he is going to be the guy that you need to talk to. So I would definitely recommend signing up for those, and he can get you set up for whatever it is you want to do.
Yep. Thanks, Blake. And those information sessions are also available for students interested in education, business, anything like that. And then there's just a list here of other options. I really in traditional times, I tell students that they need to get on the campuses of schools they're interested in. That's the best way that you will get a sense of if it's a good match for you. I went to a school that I thought was my dream school. And when I walked around campus, I was like, this is not the place for me. It was a very telling feeling for me. But if students don't feel comfortable touring campuses yet, we do have very small in-person live tours. Students aren't able to go into residence halls or dining centers, unfortunately, but we do have lots of virtual options. We have a traditional virtual tour where you click around. It's a great way to see inside residence halls. We have a live student-led tour where a student will walk around campus live with their phone and they'll show you buildings. You can ask questions. That's a really cool way to see, actually probably more than you would in a in-person tour. And then in the spring, as students start to feel more comfortable, get onto campuses, see them, get a sense of if it's a good fit for you. And then we do have upcoming open houses, as well as any one-on-one appointments students ever want, I'm available to meet with them. So thank you so much. This is, again, my contact information. Sawyer, do you have any questions before we kind of sign off, or Jody at all?
I just had a quick question, but I'll just stay quiet for a second in case Sawyer wants to ask. I know he's got band to go get back to.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I don't really have any questions as of right now. It was very well put together. You guys basically answered all my questions for me.
Okay. Thanks so much, Sawyer. Sawyer, are you a senior this year?
Yeah, yep, I am a senior this year.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we look forward to getting an application from you if you're really considering us. We'd love for you to send an app in and maybe become a Bronco.
Yeah, I fully intend on it. Right now, I'm looking a lot into your aviation program.
Okay.
I have my student pilot's license right now.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm definitely leaning that way for sure.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a great fit for you. So you'll probably get some information from our College of Aviation. And I, like Blake said, encourage you to connect with them. But we're here to answer questions. Good luck with band. Good luck with your senior year. And we hope you become a Bronco in the fall.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Kara, I just have a couple of quick questions about residence hall expectations. So our students from around here, they would be not commuters, so they're going to obviously need to live on campus. So do students, are they required to live on campus for 1 year, 2 years?
They are not required to live on campus at all.
Wow.
Yeah, but we highly encourage it. Most of the students who don't live on campus their first year, over 90% do, and that 10% tend to be local students that are saving money by living at home. So that very first year, it's best to live on campus. You meet all of your friends that way. We have an aviation house where you would live with other, aspiring pilots. So we highly recommend living on campus. It's really the best way to transition to college anywhere you go. But they are not required to. So, I talked to a student last year whose aunt lived in Kalamazoo, and he ended up living in her basement because he just saved a lot of money. So that's an option too. And students can have cars on campus. You just have to pay the nice parking fee for that. So,
which is pretty normal anywhere, I think.
Yep, it is.
Can I also ask you, I had a question about what to expect after a student has applied. So when a student applies to Western, what's the turnaround time on that?
Yeah, this is our busiest month because we are waiving that fee. It's about 2 to 3 weeks. Beyond that, we really try to get it to 2 to 3 weeks. That is once we receive that high school transcript. So that is sometimes a confusing part for students. They submit the application and they're waiting and waiting and waiting, but we haven't gotten their transcript, so we can't make a decision. So that's the main thing we need. And then we really try to do a 2 to 3 week turnaround. That tends to decrease in time in the winter when apps start to slow down a little bit.
Well, thank you so much, Kara.
Yeah.
If anyone else has questions, feel free to pipe up right now. Otherwise, I just want to say I appreciate learning so much more about Western than I knew. My husband grew up in Portage, so it's always been like, oh, what's this all about here? But it's more of a drive-by. So this is a great snapshot of what Western has to offer, and I'm so excited to be able to share this with students in Oceana, Mason, and Manistee counties.
Okay,
So thank you,
wonderful.
Kara, and
Mhm.
thank you, Blake, for sharing today. And students, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Kara. And if you need to follow up later and can't remember her information, I'm jodym@ludington.org, and you're welcome to email me too, and I'll get you connected to Kara or Blake as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Jody, and thanks, Sawyer.